Hello everyone and welcome on today's video. Today we dive in deep into a comprehensive 30-minute guide to become a Notion Pro. We'll break down everything Notion has to offer into easy to follow steps. In this video, we'll be processing through 3 different stages, starting with the beginner level, with the basics, then moving to the intermediate level for those with some experience, and finally with an advanced level for those who already have some Notion skills. There is a YouTube timeline for each of those different levels, so feel free to pass them if you think you already know everything. Let's start with the beginner level. In this section, we are going to talk about the different Notion settings, the icon section, a few ways to get an aesthetic Notion cover, all the different shortcuts to know, and the Notion template part. Let's start with the burger menu on the top left of the template. Here you can see every template you have, every page. You can also add a new page, go to the inbox or search for a special one. On the bottom, you also have access to the settings and member, the calendar and the team space. First, we have My Account. This is a page where you have all your personal info, your email, your password and the two-step verification. Next, we have the My Setting page. This is where you can change your appearance, dark to light or light to dark. To my opinion, this is the most important settings. You can also go to date and time. This is where you can select your own time zone. Let's move to My Notification page. This is where you can sync your notification when someone mentions you or comment on your page. Then we have My Connection. Here, if you use different widget or the Notion calendar, you should see it right here. And the language and region. Here you can set up your own language and you can set up your preference if you prefer to start the week on Monday or on Sunday. Next, we have the workspace settings. This is where you can choose your name, choose your icon, choose your domain if you want to share your template, or if you want to export all workspace content in a CSV file. Just below, we have the people space. This is where you can add your guest member. If you work in a company, you can share it in real time with your colleague. Then we have an upgrade page. This is where you can change your plan. If you want to upgrade your plan, you can choose plus, business or company. If you have 10 guests plus, you should then upgrade your plan. And we have the sidebar. Here, it's all the template that we decide to share or publish. Let's move to security. This page is about a few features that you can get if you have a company plan or a business plan. In the identity and provisioning, here you can verify your domain, change your domain if you want to publish or share your template, and you can manage the user dashboard if you have a lot of people coming in your Notion. And we have connection here. It's all the external website that will link into your Notion and you can manage your workspace. And finally, we have the import data section. Here you can import a CSV, a Word or an HTML code. Now, let's start designing a new page. Here, on the burger on the top left, you can choose any of your page and you can click on Add a page to create a new one. We'll first start by choose a title for our page. Then, you'll be able to find it on the burger menu. Here you can see on the bottom of the page. And you can hide the burger menu to have a full view of your template. Once we've created our page, you can click on the 3 points to access the settings and change the font and choose the one that you like the most. We can also click on the small text and the full width if you want to change the text size or if you want to switch the template to start on the left and not on the middle. We can also lock the page if you don't want to change anything anymore. You can click on customize the page if you want to continue to customize it. You can also copy the link if you want to share or duplicate it if you want to have the same template 2 times. You can also click on export if you want to export the template as a CSV, a PDF or an HTML code. Now let's talk about the icon section. Here you can choose a different emoji, you can also choose an icon, and you can choose a custom one if you find an emoji that you like on the internet. Here's an example for the custom section. You can go to a website like notionicon.website, pick the icon that you like the most, then copy the link, get back to Notion, click on custom, paste the link, and then submit. If you want to check this out, I put the link down below in the description. For this page, we're gonna choose an icon in the icon section. Inside the icon section, you can click on the logo and you can choose the different color that you like. You can also click on the bubble to set your color as a default one. Now we're going to see how to have an aesthetic Notion cover. First, click on Add Cover. Then when it's uploaded, you can click on Change Cover. And right now, you have 4 options to choose from. First, we have Gallery. This is where you can choose an image directly from Notion. Then we have the Upload section. This is where you can upload a file that you already made. We also have the link option. Here, it's when you find an image that you want to upload from the internet. And lastly, the Unsplash section. This is where you can choose an image directly from the stock photo. Now we are going to see how to get the best aesthetic Notion cover. There is a few options to choose from. You can choose to make your own in Canva. That's really simple, you don't have to do something complicated. You can also decide to make your own in ConverCon. I put the link down below in the description. You can choose the color and select the icon that you like the most. Then click on Download PNG and simply click on Allow to download. Now let's move to my favorite website to choose a Notion cover. Here you can go to giphy.com and type Pixel City and you will find a lot of animated Notion cover. You can also go to my Pinterest profile. Here I have all my favorite Notion cover. And for this video we are going to choose one directly from my Pinterest page. We click on one, open the page, then click on copy image address, get back to Notion, click change cover, click on link, then paste the link and submit. Now that we have a green animated Notion cover, we are going to click on the icon to change the color in green, to have the same color palette. Now let's move to the free template section from Notion. You can click on the burger, click on template, and here you just have a bunch of templates to choose from. I think if you're just starting out, is the best way to improve your Notion skills. You can choose one of these to test it and get familiar with Notion. These templates are a huge time saver and a great way to learn how Notion works and to get inspiration for your own custom setups. Whether you need a template for planning your week, organizing your notes, or managing your projects, you'll find something that suits your needs. And remember, you can always modify this template to make them your own. So for example, if you like this template vision and strategy, you can just click on the blue button get the template and you'll have it in your main dashboard. So now we can click on more template on the bottom left to have access to more Notion templates directly from the Notion website. You can see that there is a lot of templates available and a lot of categories. So I think at the beginning this is a nice way to start. You can just pick a template that you like and then test it. You can modify it, create your own from it. So yeah, when you click get the template, you just get it for free instantly. You can also go to my website, pickandclicktemplate.com, and find a template that suits your needs. I get template for free and I have premium templates. You can choose the one you like the most. The budget tracker is free, the get things done, the habit tracker, the productivity pack and the second brain are my premium templates. And I also have some Notion tutorial, so I think it's very beginner friendly. So if you want to support me, you can definitely check this out. Now let's talk about the different shortcuts. If you want to search for something, you can just click on the burger menu and find the page that you're searching for. If you want to access the function search, you can also use a shortcut, command ctrl+p, and you will just have a pop-up that will appear on your screen. The main character to access all different shortcuts is dash. You can type dash and then access all the different functions in Notion. You can see that there is a lot of functions, but don't worry, we'll see every one of them in this video. Using this dash character, you can also access the different connection if you have an external website linked to your Notion. Now the shortcut for the heading, you can just type dash and hashtag. You'll automatically have a heading 1. You can do the same if you want a heading 2, is dash 2 hashtags, and the same for heading 3, dash 3 hashtags. If you want a divider, you can just type twice minus and then space, you'll have a divider. For a number list, we have to type 1 dot space. For the toggle, we have to type the greater than character and then space. The shortcut for the to-do list is an opening square and then a closing square. If you want to have a bullet point, it's just minus and then space. If you are looking for the quote function, you just have to type double quote and then space. The call out function is the only one with no shortcut, so for this one, you just have to type dash callout. If you want to know more about the shortcut, you can go to the website notion.so and there is all the shortcuts in one page. I strongly advise to you that you know all the different shortcuts because it's really easy to then build a page with this knowledge. I put all the different resources down below in the description, so if you want to have access, you can just click on the link and navigate through the different shortcuts. Now let's start building our page. First, we're gonna create a heading 2, we'll name it block. And when we click on the 6 point on the left, we can see that we have a bunch of options to choose from. We can delete the block that we've just created, duplicate it if you want to have twice. You can turn into a heading 1, a code, or you can turn the page into a page that we already have in our main dashboard. You can copy the link to the block to paste it somewhere else. You can move to another page or another place. You can comment this block. If you work with other people, they will see that you left a comment. And you can choose to change the color background or the color text of your block. In this case, we are going to choose green to keep the same color palette. Now we are going to create a table. For that, we delete the heading 2, we type the shortcut -table. Once we have our table, you can choose to add a column by simply clicking on the right or on the bottom to add one column. To add some more column, you can also simply use your mouse on the corner. And if you want to have a larger column, you can just click on the larger character to have your column that take all the screen. You can choose that this column can be the header column. You can also choose the color background, the color text, insert a column on the left, insert a column on the right. You can duplicate it, clear the text inside, and finally delete it. You can write something for the title of the column. When you select it, you can also choose to link the title with another page. So when you click on it, you'll be directly on the page that we selected, and select your own color to be on the same color palette. When we type @ that's a shortcut to select another page on your main dashboard. So if you have a lot of templates and you want to have them all in a single place, you can just click this shortcut and then add your few different templates. For this video, we are going to turn the table into a database. For that, we just have to click on the 6 point and then click turn into database. But remember, we can always turn the database into a table and turn the table into a database. That was it for the beginner part, so now let's move to the intermediate level. In this part, we are going to see the database, the different group by function, a few different tips that's nice to know as a Notion user, how to use the Notion Web Clipper extension, and the linked and the motion page. So let's start with the database. To create a database, we just have to type the shortcut -database, and then you can choose the one you like. In this case, we are going to choose the inline database. Once we've created the database, we can name it with a title, but personally, I prefer to hide it to make it look more aesthetic. Here's a little tip. We're gonna create a callout function, name it database. Then we're gonna select the title that we just wrote. We can make it bold and surlined. We can also choose the color. Here we're gonna choose green to keep the same color palette. And once we did that, we are good for the title, and we can drag and drop the database inline inside the callout function. We can look for an icon, but honestly, I like this one, so let's keep it. Now we are good to add some different property. Here I'm gonna select the checkbox property. We can see that when we click on it, the box just ticks. Every line of the database is a different page, so when we click open, we can just create a page for each of the different lines. There is another cool function. At the bottom of every column, you can calculate the summary, the count all, or the percentage. Now let's see the database settings. We can see that when we click on the 3 point, we have access to the view option. We can click on layout, and here you can show or hide the database title. You can show or hide the vertical lines. If you have a CSV with data, you can just click on the 6 point and then merge with CSV. Notion is CSV friendly, so if you have a lot of data, you can just manage them all in Notion. We can always change the style of the database by clicking on full width. Now let's dive deeper into the different database. You can see that in the view option, you can click on layout. There is 6 different styles of database. We'll see these 6 different styles right now. The first one is the table, is the one that we already have. Then we have the board view. This is when you want to get an overview of your different tasks, your different projects in the same place. Next, we have a timeline database. This is when you want to get things done by a specific date. Remember, you can always have a few different projects, have a few different tasks in each of the different databases. Next, we got a calendar view. This is when you can build something like an habit tracker. We can now build a list database. This is when you can list all your different pages from the table view that we've created before. And finally, we got the gallery view. This one is my favorite. I use this one to create my YouTube video. Every time I want to plan a YouTube video, I just create a different page for each of my videos, so I can keep an history of it. It's a great way to manage your project when you can illustrate it with some pictures. Now, let's see the property settings. When we click on property, we can see that we can hide or show one particular property. To find these property settings, we just have to click on the 3 point in the database and then select property. We also have the option to drag and drop the property to manage them and rearrange them. Next, let's talk a bit about the different filter options. When we click on the filter in the database, we have the option to choose one of the property to filter by. For example, we can select checkbox and then select checked. We can also do the same for unchecked, so now we can only see the unchecked box line. Let's start building our database, so now we are ready to give a name, a tag and a date for every one of the line. In this example, I decided to go simple, just to show you an example of how this database can work. I give a name for each of the line, a task, and then I give her a tag. I also give date, like a random one. We can see that when we put some information in the line and we retry the checkbox filter, it's a lot more aesthetic. I strongly advise you to play around with some filter in the database to have a good understanding of how they work. Okay, now let's see the date filter. This one is more personalizable. We can set up the date when it's before, after, or during the period of time that we selected. Filter is a great way to have a personalizable database that you can manage tasks or projects. When we click on the filter and then on the 3 points, we can see that we can click on add to filter. And in these settings, we can see that we can add a few different date filter in the same one. And when you want to delete a filter, you just click on the 3 points, then click on delete. And when you don't want a filter that appears on your database, you can just simply click on filter and it will disappear. We can also combine two filters. For example, here we're gonna select the date, click on add filter, then add a filter rule. We can select the checkbox when the checkbox is checked. So now we have a combine two property rules. And we can delete it to simply switch to the sort filter. I'll show you an example right now. You can sort any of the property in the database by simply clicking on sort and click on the property that you want to sort. You can click ascending or descending. And of course, you could do the same with the other properties. Now I'm going to show you one of my favorite settings is the group part settings. Here we are going to group by tag. So when we click on tag, we can see that we automatically have two toggles for the two different tags. So when we click on the toggle, we can see that we can hide and show the different lines related about this tag. We can also choose to group the database by date. And we know that the last 30 days we had 2 tasks, and yesterday we only had 1. That was it for the database part. If you have any question, please let me know down below in the comments. Next, let's continue to build our page. So here I'm gonna select a heading 2 to write a title. We can name it title 1. I'm going to do the same for the title 2. We can now choose the green color for the 2 titles to keep the same color palette. If we want to have 2 different columns, we can just drag and drop to try to put the title 2 on the right. In this case, we have to type the shortcut dash colon, select the 2 column, if we want to drag and drop and create 2 columns with the title 1 and the title 2. I just have to put a little bit up the title 2. We'll now create a bullet point list by clicking minus and then space. We create one and then we create a second one. And we can see that we can drag and drop in the different column the bullet points. The drag and drop thing is very useful and very user friendly, so I think you should use it. We can also adjust the size of the different column by simply go in the middle and then play with our mouse to choose the right size for our two columns. If you don't want to create different columns, we can just select empty blocks and then drag and drop on the right to create a third one. I guess this one is very useful if you forget to add another column. To keep the same ID on all our page, we're going to name it Title 3 by selecting a heading 2 and just select the green color. Notion databases are powerful and their true potential is unlocked when you start to experiment with them. Try dragging database entries to reorder them or move them between different views and groups. Notice how this impacts not just your organization of your information, but also your interaction with it. This hands-on approach is key. Don't be afraid to make mistakes or try something new. Every minute you spend experimenting with Notion takes you a step closer to becoming a true Notion pro. It's all about discovering what works the best for you and your unique needs. And we can just drag and drop back the database into the callout section. You can also select the two columns that we've just created, then create a toggle, and drag and drop the two columns inside the toggle to create a multi-column inside the column. Next, we're going to talk about the mention inside a Notion page. If you want to mention another template inside the Notion page, you can just type the shortcut @ and then select the name of the page that you want to mention. You can also do the same if you want to mention someone from your team. You can just type @ and then his name. And lastly, we can also do that for a date. We can type @tomorrow and select the specific hour that we want to input. In this case, 9 a.m. And when you click on the date, we can click on Remind and select a reminder 20 minutes before. So 20 minutes before that, we'll get a notification to remind ourselves that we have to do something. If you want to get a linked page directly in your Notion page, you can just select the template that you want linked, copy the link, and then paste it in the page that we are building right now. You can select linked page. In this case, second brain, so when we click on second brain, we just get to the template directly. Now for mention page, you can just type into the text, then click mention page. And now when we click on the second brain, we can see that we have one backlink in the page that we are building right now. So that was it for the link page and the mention page. Now we are going to talk about the share and publish function. If you want to invite someone from your team directly to your Notion, you can just click on share and write in the search bar directly his name if you already have it in your Notion, or you can just write his email. Now that you found the contact that you want to invite, you can just click on full access and then you can select if the people can edit, can comment, or if you're okay to give them full access. Next we have the publish option. This is where you can put your page live on the web. You'll have a unique URL, so when people just copy and paste them in the browser, they can just find your template. If you have the upgrade plan, you can go to link expiration, click to never, and then select the timeline that you prefer, like 1 day, 1 week, or 1 month. You can also allow people to edit your template, to comment your template, or to duplicate it for them to get it directly in their main dashboard. The search engine listing is when you want people to find your template directly from the web. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the last thing before moving to the advanced level. It's called the Notion Web Clipper. To use it properly, you should have a gallery view with a URL and a tag property. First thing first, you have to download the Notion Web Clipper app. Then when you find a page that you think is very useful, or a YouTube video or a podcast that you want to save in a Notion page, you can use this tool. For example, if you want to save the Notion Web Clipper app, you can just click on the little Notion icon and then select the page that you want to put this website in to save it, and simply click on Save Page. So when you get back to your Notion, you can see that the page was saved. When I do it for myself, I always enter the tag website, podcast, or YouTube video. And you can simply copy the URL of the page and paste it on the tag property URL. So that was it for the intermediate level. Now let's move to the advanced level. In this part of the video, we are going to talk about Sync Block, Sync Database and how to use it to manage your project and your task, and about the default Notion page template. So let's start with the Sync Block. If you want to have a Sync Block, you can simply click on the 6 point, then turn into a sync block. There is also another way to create sync block. You can use the shortcut -sync and then drag and drop the block that you want to put in the sync block. So if you want to have this sync block into another template, you just click copy and sync, then go to the template that you want to have the sync block in, you scroll down and then you simply paste the sync block. So we can now test the sync block to see if it's working properly. So for that, we just type a bullet point, then note 1, and we do the same for note 2. Then we can get back on the main template that we were building earlier, and we can see that the block has synced properly. If you want to unsync this block, you just click on the 3 points on the right and click on unsync. Now let's move to the linked database. If you want a linked database, you'll simply have to type the shortcut -linked and then select the database that you want to link. There is another way to do that. You can click on the 6 point on the main database that you want to copy and then click on copy the link. Then you can paste it and click on create link view of database. Now let's test if these 3 databases are really linked. So for that we can select tag, click on 2 and 3, and we can see that all the 3 databases are linked with each other. There is an exception. If you want to sort one database, it's gonna be for only one of the 3 linked databases, so the 2 other will not move. Next, we'll see the relation property for 2 different databases. To create a relation property, you need 2 databases that you want to link, then click on plus and select the relation property. Then we have to select task, because it's the task page that we want to sync. We can enable show on task and write project in the related property. Then we add the relation and we are going now to test it to see if it's working. So in the author database, in the relation property, we're gonna add a project 1 and we can see that in the task it's directly related. When we go back to the project database, we can click on open to open the page. We can select the task property relation and click show as page section. We can also decide to hide and show some property, but personally I prefer to show the relation property as minimal. So when we click on task, we can see the under categories. Okay, so let's get back to our main template and let's add some more function into this main dashboard. So we're gonna add a rollup function. We click on plus, then select rollup function, and we'll name it percentage, because in this case we want a percentage bar, we want an overview of the things that has been done in the dashboard. And of course, in the relation, we're gonna select task. In the property settings, we have to select checkbox, and in calculate, we have to select percentage checked. Now that we have a percentage and we want to make it more aesthetic, we can just simply scroll down and select the bar to have the progress bar overview of the percentage. So in the task database, if we untick the box and tick the box, we can see that the percentage bar is moving, so it's working properly. Now let's make a page template into the project database. We'll name it YouTube and then we can select the icon movie to match with the title. Create a page template for a database that you use frequently is a great thing, because basically every time you're building a page, you don't want to rewrite the same thing again and again. If you have the same information, you can just create a page template and then apply it to every different line of the database. So now we have copied the task database and we're gonna paste it into the project page template. So for that we click on edit and then we paste the link and create a link view of the database. We can click on filter, select project, the relation property, and then select YouTube. And now every time that we go to YouTube project, it will automatically be updated into this page. We are now going to create a new page template into the task database, but this time not for the same reason. Let's say that every time you create a new line, you want the same icon to keep the same ID, the same color palette. You just have to create a new template and then choose the icon that you want. Then click on the arrow next to new, click on the 3 point and set it as a default page. So now every time you want to create a new task, a new line, you just click on new, simply name it task 4 and then click enter, the icon will automatically update. One last thing I want to share with you guys, it's a calendar view tips that you have to know. So when you have an habit tracker like this, you can click on the arrow next to new, then click on the 3 point, click on repeat. you can select every day. So now every day at midnight, the page will create automatically. So when you wake up in the morning, you already have the page that has been created. By the way, if you want a tutorial on how to create an habit tracker like this, you can just check my last video about the habit tracker and the Notion chart in my YouTube channel. I hope you guys like this video. If it's the case, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.